I've done a tester, so hopefully this will work. I'm going to read a blog to you. This blog is called How to Put a Life Together. And then if by any chance I can see your chats and your comments, I will respond to them. Otherwise, any comments that are made, I will respond to at some point. You can tell I'm learning as I go on this. I wrote this blog really thinking that it's hard to know how to put a life together. Often we can see where we went wrong. We've got regrets, we feel guilt, we feel embarrassed about some of the choices we made. Often we can get ourselves in a position, or we find ourselves rather in a position where we feel in a mess, or the edges are starting to fray. And we can see the problems, but often it's hard to then know what to do, what the next step might be, and how to go forwards. So this blog was really written about that, about me thinking about that and how to work that in my own life as much as how to describe it. So here goes. There will come times in our lives when we need to rebuild or at least rework our life. But how do you solve the problem or the puzzle of putting together a life? I was taught a way of doing jigsaw puzzles. You start with the corners and then the edges and then fill in the middle, all the time checking what you're doing against the picture on the lid. I like doing puzzles that way. It's neat and ordered, and you work out quickly if you have room for it on your coffee table. My toddler has a different method. He picks up, or at least has me find, the pieces of his favourite character and starts by working out how these pieces go together. After that, he'll attach the pieces that fit around this character and finally discovering the edges, which always seem the hardest to put in place. For putting together the pieces of our life, I rather like my son's method. We've been given many final pictures of what our lives should look like, but they're often contradictory and hazy in places and rarely about us. We've often started with limits. Don't be too this or that. You'll never be this or that. You're not this or that. We prematurely assess the space available for our life jigsaw and get a new one from the family and cultural cupboard if it might take up too much room. The failure one, the nice and polite one, or the put-together achiever one. And we usually end up with our favourite character, ourselves, rather small or rather disfigured, as we've had to cut off this and that part and stick on this or that part to make it fit. My son offers another way. We start with the pieces of ourself. Of course, we must learn to value ourselves sufficiently to start here, and we might need to find some or many of the bits we've chopped off, thrown away, or lost behind the sofa. Once we have these, we can then start trying to put ourselves together. We might need to reacquaint ourselves with some parts, learn to embrace and value them again, and work out where they belong in us. After that, we can start to put other pieces of our life around us. Perhaps they're connected in different ways than before. Perhaps some of these pieces need placing behind the sofa. There will probably be some pushback here. Those pieces might like where they used to be. They'd gotten used to it, or had their jigsaw nicely fitting together. We might need to renegotiate. But most will value the new picture, at least in the end. And finally, we discover our own limits. These, rightly so, I think, are difficult to find and accept, and may take a lot of trial and error. But they are necessary if the jigsaw is going to hold together. Of course, we may find the jigsaw doesn't fit on the coffee table at this point, and that's okay. Perhaps it belonged on the dining table all along. well, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for your time. And do join me again, either live or watching my videos every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Take care.